Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, July 3rd, and at Unity Radiant Light, today we are celebrating the Independence Day and also the 12 layers of the DNA series. We'll be covering layers 4 and 5 today. I'm Reverend Cherie Ruffo, and I'll be giving the talk this morning. We've been talking about the 12 layers of the DNA. We finished our first 3 layers, which we called the grounding layers. And I've been using the lessons based on the Cryon series, the 12 layers of the DNA. And with it, we're looking at what each layer means, but also the fact that we are multidimensional and we have so much light and power within us. And by enhancing that, we can lead better lives, create a better world for ourselves. So we're moving into our second layers, the 3 layers. Each layers there are separated by 3 layers. So we have the grounding layers. And today we're beginning the higher self layers. We're really looking at moving more into the quantum field. We're moving into the deep esoterics of religion, whatever you want to call it. But we're looking at the divinity that is within each one of us. I've been also studying with Simone Matthews in Australia for a couple of years, and with her I found each of the layers have an archangel that's associated with it too, and we have the different with it. We look at the different elements for it. The first 3 layers that we looked at were the base chakra, Earth Star, and Earth Gateway, and those were all the Earth element. Today we're moving into Archangel Michael, who's associated with the solar plexus and associated with fire. We're also looking at Archangel Shamuel, who is the heart chakra, and that's air. So we're going to be looking at introducing 2 different elements into this now as we move forward. And as we go into meditation, I also have the essences that are associated with these archangels that I'll be sharing with all of you. So as we go back, I want to just look at this a little bit more. When we go back, we start talking about the sacral chakra, solar plexus, the solar plexus, and the heart chakra today. And I have to tell you, my experience in Mount Shasta last week, when I went in for stem cell therapy on Monday, it was interesting. They have this laser that looks at all parts of your body. And what was so interesting about it when I started working on this week's talk is that it picked up that I needed treatment in my heart chakra, but also he said, I'm seeing something down in your solar plexus. So what would you like to do with that? And I said, well, I definitely treat both of them together. And then I started working on this talk for Sunday and realized layers 4 and 5 are the heart chakra and solar plexus. So there's never any coincidences. And they both, and as you'll see, they both really go together well. And as we've come through this series and we're looking at something that we've talked about, we always talk about here in Radiant Light, is that we have this lineage inside of us, this history. We came, they came here 200,000 years ago. People, then science calls it the missing link. What happened? How did we evolve into who we are today? And it is believed that something happened. And some people believe that it happened that just through evolution. And some of us believe that, something happened. Maybe something came from the outside of this planet and mixed with our DNA. And we had a shift then. And whatever it is you believe, I happen to believe, I believe that the story about the Pleiadians coming here and helping us to raise our consciousness and to help us shift our DNA. So whatever it is you believe, we do know, and even science is backed up, something happened. And it shifted our DNA in a way that has shifted in the last 200,000 years. That was the biggest change that we made. And what happened at that point is that when we had this shift, because we live in this 3rd dimensional world, with it, as we talked about, has heavier energy, is that a veil came down. We forgot who we were. We come into this lifetime, we're here to learn things. We're here to really be this divine essence of God, to have these experiences and to grow. But we come in with this veil down. Well, we know in 2012, the whole planet shifted. And at that point, we the veil started to come up. So as you've seen, we've had we have where it used to be, like I talk about when I used to want to find something on angels, I'd have to go to the occult section of the bookstore back in the 90s. Or, there were things that we just never thought about. Well, all these things are happening. And if you've noticed the last couple of years, all these things are kind of happening at once, right? It seems like, wow, this is a lot of stuff that's happening on the planet. As we've seen, people really standing up for their rights. We've seen just shifts in consciousness. Whether you agree or disagree with the way the person's shifting's going on. And that's coming from all these new energies that are happening since 2012, since we've opened up to this. And we know, though, that the path here, because you're here today and you're here on the planet, is during this shift, is that we're also shifting. We are changing. And our actual DNA is shifting. And this time, though, we didn't have to have outside interference for it. This time it's coming from within us. That is a huge difference. Because think about this. Imagine a master who could live for 900 years. When I used to read the Old Testament, I used to think, well, no, Moses was 920 years old. They just didn't know how to count that. They weren't counting years the same way. It couldn't possibly be. Or I think, okay, there was something different about us, but how could we change so much? But the truth is that as we move further and further into the third dimension, into the heavier energy, we shifted down our age, we shifted down, a lot of people, science is showing, looking from the past, we could have shifted our height to be shorter. But that's changing now, and we're finding that even age is starting to shift on us. It was funny, at the conference we were at last week, we had a doctor who really works in the science of that, is looking at biology and looking at how long we can be expected to live. We know through science that our body is built to live a few hundred years. That doesn't happen because we live in this third dimensional reality where we have this linear time and we have this mindset that we're here for maybe 100 years if we're lucky, but that's it. Well, science is changing that now. And you're starting to see it in the mainstream. So I spent last weekend really listening to what they were saying about us living. We should be able to live 150 years. This is what we can do to extend our age. And then when I came home, I turned on, I think it was Good Morning America the other day. And the first thing that I saw was a scientist talking about the fact that we can live 150 years. Secret's out. It's not just for New Thought people or scientists. This is something that's true now. This is something that's shifting. And the shift that's coming with it isn't so much that it's because of pharmaceuticals or because of religion or because of anything that we might have thought it would have been about the past. It's about us. And we're seeing the impact. Yes, we have to eat right and we have to take care of ourselves. But there's also the impact of our consciousness. And that's what we're talking about here today, is our consciousness. We know that by doing the work that we're doing, is that the veil is thinning. But we also know through our consciousness, we can remove it from our lives. And every time we do that, because we have oneness here on the planet, it impacts the whole planet. So how does this relate back to these layers that we're talking about? Well, it's really important because these layers, especially these ones that we're looking at now, 4 and 5 are together for a reason, because they're huge. It's our crystalline core layers. This is our crystal cells inside of us. We have this light that's meant to shine, and we're going to talk about that in a moment in association with Archangel Michael. So how does this feel when I say that? If you just feel like it, you can close your eyes for a moment and breathe in on it. How does it feel to know that you have this divinity within you? You are divine. And the truth is, you always have been. You can open your eyes if they're closed and just see how you feel. Just kind of do a sound check. This is your core crystal energy that in every cell of your DNA is your divinity. Wow. Nobody can take it out of you. It's in every part of who you are. And that's why it's so important that we have Archangel Michael working with us on this. And he's often represented as the protector. You see him with his sword there, mighty, and is often presented in a male form, even though we know that archangels have no sex. With this, we have the symbol, the tetrahedron, and the fire element. When we think of fire, we think of passion. And we're talking about the law of free will. That's what Archangel Michael is about, and that we have this layer of protection. So the keywords, if you were going to have keywords with Archangel Michael, it might be courage, protection, free will. Archangel Michael also is associated with our solar plexus, and that would be our entire endocrine system, our digestive system. So if we become really aware of that area, think about what's going on in our digestive system, how well balanced is that area for us? Well, I think of the stomach because also as a Unity Truth student, we study the 12 powers, and each power is in place of our body. Well, the power of wisdom, which is also associated with the power of judgment. So we have this wisdom, this innate wisdom within us, but we also have to ask ourselves how we're judging things, how we're using our judgment. That's in the pit of our stomach, which is part of the solar plexus. So if you're having issues with your pancreas, your stomach, you have diabetes, Archangel Michael and the chakra is really going to be important for you to work with. This immunity is also related to the chakra. If your immunity system, as I sit here talking to you about immunity this week, right? It's kind of ironic. Excuse me. If you have a really balanced solar plexus, then you have a strong sense of self. You feel empowered. You are comfortable with your free will and power. You know, people who have too much energy in the solar plexus area, we often see them as aggressive, sometimes even savage. We'll find people that act like bullies, or countries that may act like a bully, or any groups of people that may get together and act aggressive, have too much of the solar plexus going on. And if we're looking at it, they're not able to tolerate intimacy, just really shut down from, they don't want to, everything is in black and white. They're right, nobody else is. They don't accept self-responsibility. And if you're going to see it inside your body, you might see it in the form of diabetes, blood sugar issues, pancreas, gallbladder problems. This person can run high and be bullish, but will tend to burn out and be exhausted. And really, at the end of the day, someone that acts like that, you look at and say, what a horrible person. But what is it they're really trying to say to us? They really have a lack of self-worth. And they're trying to cover that up. It's as simple as that. So when we step into the compassionate part of that, we must understand that a person with too little in the solar plexus will be seen as having a lack of will. They have bad boundaries, low self-worth, self-love. They give their power away too easily. They allow it to leave them. They may tend towards obesity, sluggishness. Sometimes it can show up as diverticulitis. And if you have any of these symptoms or problems, and you don't have an issue with this, this isn't all set in stone either. You may see crossovers between the two. It's all fine because we're not in these perfect holes here. So this chakra tells us we need to show up with confidence and self-worth. And by balancing that, that's what we're looking to achieve. And Archangel Michael, who's the protector, can help us do that. And sometimes we're looking at the other part of 4 and 5, Shamil. Sometimes the biggest thing that can scare us is our light. We each have this bright light inside of us. And sometimes people feel, well, I don't want to show up too big in the world. I don't want to, I don't want to seem aggressive. And they diminish their light to make other people feel more comfortable. They dim it. Well, guess what, guys? It's time to show up, to shine our lights and grace into the world. The world needs more love. It needs more of our light. It needs you. And it needs that passion. And if we don't shine our lights, sometimes we tend to have a lack of boundaries. And I may stutter over that because, yes, I am. That is one of the things that I'm dealing with too. I'm working on my boundaries. And if we don't have boundaries, we get into trouble because then we deny ourselves what we truly need. And by doing that, we dim our light in the world. And that's the last thing we want to do. So this archangel, Shamil, can help us to open up, to express ourselves, to shine that light. We always say we want people to have to wear sunglasses when they see us because our light's brighting so brightly. And if we don't shine it, then we tend to have our free will dimmed. So we're really talking about the heart chakra here when we talk about Shamil. And this balance in this area is going to help us with the law of love. And we're talking about the octahedron on this. We're also talking about the air element. When we have a balanced heart chakra, this is a person that is full of compassion. This is a person that has a unity consciousness. They give in service and they receive in service. And you see, a balanced heart chakra has that. You give in service, but you must also receive in service. So in your life, are you giving and receiving? How's that going for you? A person with too much heart chakra might be addicted to relationships, overly obsessive about world affairs. You might see them with a hyperthyroid, sometimes sex addiction. They're trying to be too controlling. They don't know how to just let go and be love. And as we talk about these layers of the DNA, we also talk about love, which is the most important. This is the substance that we are born of and are. We just are supposed to be. That's our action step, to be that. And sometimes people who have been through too much heart chakra, an overload of it, they've had so many breakups. They're jaded and in love. They just don't want anything else to do with it. Now, a person who has too little heart chakra is usually stressed out. They worry about not being lovable. Might see them as doormats. Might have unforgiveness issues. They're closed to love too because they're afraid of it. And that's what this all boils down to, are we balanced in that chakra, or do we have some sort of fear or blockage going on? Which we're gonna do a little bit of releasing in the meditation. So this is the law about divine love, healing, and peace. Because when you have this divine love, when you have this love in your life, it comes with peace and joy. This is just the natural state that comes from it, right? And the twin flame is also often associated with the chakra. So this archangel, Shamil, can help us to find that balance, to find that again. And I have people who often say to me, what, I'm done with love. I've been down that path. I've been married 1, 2, 3, whatever times it is. And it's just not meant for me this lifetime. I had a niece who said that to me in 2020. And I said, she had just gone through her second divorce. And I said, don't ever give up, in love. You just don't know what's out there. And she took the risk and opened her heart again. And now she's happily married and really building a life that she'd always dreamed about. It's never too late. It's never, it's people would say, well, I'm 87 years old. It's that ship sailed. No, not if that's what you want. Not if that's what you're open to. It hasn't. So the question that you should ask this week is, what do you want? What's important to you in this? in this lifetime. And just think about that as you breathe into it, this heart chakra, and ask yourself these questions. You might be surprised at what pops up. As a survivor of child abuse, I've had to work through layers of blockages with my heart. And a lot of times, and I'll say, okay, great, I did that. Been there, done that. I did all the work and I'll be really proud. And then something else will pop up and I'll find that there might be something deep in my subconscious that maybe I didn't work through. Like, geez, we're going to go do this again, but we're going to do it and I will do it as long as I need to, as long as there's things, because that's for me to do. And I don't want to miss out on all these beautiful adventures in love and this wonderful world that's based in love, even though sometimes it doesn't appear to be that way. Even our world is based in love. And I want to add to that. I don't want to sit behind blockages, live the best life I can. So this archangel here can show us this greater purpose, greater light. When we embrace love, our greater purpose usually shows up too. If you're not living, when you feel like there's something else for you in life, it'll come up with this chakra. If we understand that we emanate from this ray of love, this is who we are. You can never be less than that. And I repeat that because it's so important. Don't be owned by any of your past experiences or negative experiences. Don't let that be your story. Let go of that story. Really let go and embrace that. And as I found over the years, as I'm letting go of, as each layer comes up or different things appear in my life, I'm at a place where I'm really happy. I have wonderful love in my life. And I have love in what I do with Unity Radiant Light, my business, and all the things that I'm able to do. This is what I'm here to be my best self. And the excitement that I feel over working through more layers is that's just going to help me be more of my best self. So you are this ray of love. And that's what this is about today. That's what this layers 4 and 5 of the DNA are about. For us to understand that, to embrace it, to feel it in our DNA. And with that, our DNA will become more alive, better than ever. We'll become more immune to things. We'll have more self-confidence. And we can never have too much love. So as a consciousness of love, what is it for you to do? You're whole and complete. You exist in this field. What is your next step? We can make the decision to operate in the illusion of what's on this planet, or we can choose love. We can choose wisdom, judgment. With the solar plexus, we can balance these chakras. And as we do that, our light will shine brighter into the world and heal more and more things. If you want to work with these chakras more closely, we know Archangel Michael is amethyst crystal. So if you have that close by and you want to meditate with that this morning, that's great. And you guys have probably guessed that the crystal associated with the heart chakra is the rose quartz. So if you have either of those or just coming up and you feel like grabbing, if you feel, you might have a day where things were tough and you feel like your heart chakra may not be balanced, you might want to grab that rose quartz when you're meditating, or if your solar plexus, if you're having digestive issues. So these layers, as we're working into these layers of divinity now, these layers are huge. They're so big. The 2 layers that this is such a big layer, we had to break it into 2 layers. And this is a really important thing to understand, that understanding the divinity within is this next step. To fully understand, not just to say, And I think in the beginning, I'd say, yeah, right, I have divinity within. And it's something I was kind of counting on. It was the second step in the unity principles, right? Okay, yep, I'm divine. But if we really stopped and thought about what that means, what does it mean to you? You are divine. You are a divine being. You're journeyed here. You have a soul. We look at the unity of the way we're broken down. We have our spirit, which we believe is on the other side. So there's a part of us that when we're here, the greater part of us is not. We travel into this realm to have these experiences that we're having with our soul. And we also have an ego. And the question is which one's in the driver's seat? Is it your divine part of you? Or is it a part in the ego that may be caught in illusion? So I ask you this week to really think about that, to really think about, okay, where am I acting from? And not only that, where am I going with this? Maybe set some goals to just, and the goal is not a huge goal to go out and, do anything major, but it's just to let your light shine brighter. With this understanding, this belief, that light is shining brighter and brighter because it's reflecting you and your greatness. So if you feel like we're going to be doing a meditation now, if you feel like either of these are blocked, I just invite you to open that heart as wide as you're comfortable doing, but allow that healing to take place. It's really important that it does now. Not only do you need it, but the world needs it. So I'm so glad to be on this journey with you. So happy that we're traveling this road together. I just invite you now to sit back as we go into meditation together. And there's only one picture representation. This is from Elon Cohen. It's layers 4 and 5 of the DNA as illustrated. And I'm going to I once again recorded Elon giving us the Hebrew pronunciation.
Layer 4 and 5. Urim vetumim. Aleph Etz Adonai. Urim vetumim. Aleph Etz Adonai.
So I just invite you to relax. Maybe take a deep breath in. We can bring the divine layers, DNA layers, 4 and 5 into your mind's eye. As we begin our activation. Close your outer eyes if they aren't yet. Take a slow, nourishing breath into every cell of your body. Drop it into your core and heart, and just breathe. Breathe in gently, and just release gently. As we first breathe into our solar plexus chakra, if you feel that you have any blocks there, we just engage with Archangel Michael as we release the essence to you. You can ask for assistance with releasing from this chakra. Open up as much as you are ready to. As you breathe in, if you feel that you have too much of this chakra, that your emotions may be too aggressive, or you had any of the ailments from it, just gently begin to release that. Release as much as you are ready and willing to, and receive as much energy as you are ready. Feel your cells absorbing this enhanced divinity, this activation of the chakra. And now as we move up into our heart chakra, not closing off the solar plexus, we open that chakra. Is there anything in that chakra that you would like to release? Do you feel like you've been closed off from relationships? You haven't set boundaries in your life. Have you been hurt? What is it you're willing to release? What blockages do you have for this? And this isn't about ripping or tearing. This is about gently allowing something to be removed. Shami will help you with this. You can ask for this assistance as you allow these blockages to be removed. Do you love yourself? Really, truly love yourself? Are you overgiving to the detriment of yourself? This is the time to release that. Just feel your cells as you release the things that no longer serve you and receive that love, that divine love. Just allow yourselves to feel it, to be nourished by this. You are divine love in action. That great love you may have been waiting for is you. You are the one. Just breathe into that. Feel these layers, 4 and 5 of your DNA expanding right now, shining so brightly. You can take a moment and feel that expansion. Sit in the silence for a moment to allow that expansion to continue. This is the moment you came into this lifetime for. This is it. You are the great I am and always have been. Feel that great I am inside of you, as you, just expanding. It's always been there, but your awareness of it is expanding. You have no beginning and no end. This is you. Feel that eternalness that you are. Yes, we may show up and have a body, but we're so much more. And when you can see this in yourself, you can see it in others so easily. It can never be hidden. Just breathe into that. And when you're comfortable, you can open your eyes and we can look at our wave of love and our geometry, sacred geometry for the week. With the solar plexus, I am divine will. Say that to yourself right now. I am divine will. You move up into our heart chakra. I am divine love. I am divine love. And just breathe. Our hearts are open. Our minds are open to this multidimensional reality of who we are. We're not limited by a third dimension or any dimension. We are everywhere. And we can be a multidimensional being simply because we already are. As we breathe into that, we know this love is so big. We can use this to help others in the world. So let's first feel this big, huge love that we have as this group. And as we shift it, we can send it right out into the world, healing what needs to be healed, revealing the things we need to know so we can heal them. We feel that love travel the world, touch those we know and our loved ones. For each person that needs healing, we see their cells working in perfect and divine order because they too are multidimensional. They too have this divinity. We see prosperity in every person's life, in every area, because it is our divine inheritance. And with this balancing, especially of the heart chakra, just take a moment to feel that joy and send that joy out that comes from the inside. And that peace that comes along with it too. We send it out to those who need it. And as we turn our focus back to ourselves and those that we love and those around us in our world, we know the truth. When we pull back that veil, there is nothing but love in its purest form. And that purest form is you. You place your hands on your heart chakra if you're comfortable. Just breathe in that love. As we say thank you, we're so grateful for these lessons. Grateful to Jesus, our way shower, who came here to teach us these things. Grateful for every brave, wonderful, divine being who has shown up in this world. So we say thank you, and so it is.